Hello, vinyl community, and welcome to Mike's Vinyl Experience. Thank you so much for being with me here today. I am so excited that you're here. I have got today a really neat and fun review of Analogue Productions' latest release of War, their greatest hits. Before I get into the meat of this review with you and kind of let you know my thoughts on what Analogue Productions has done to this, I think, great album. Let me tell you a little bit about War. The group War was formed in 1969, put together mostly by record producer Jerry Goldstein. Their first lead singer was former Animals frontman and lead singer Eric Burdon. The group came together in 1970 and had their first album, which was titled Eric Burdon Declares War. The big song off that album was Spill the Wine, which is one of their most popular songs and is to this day. During that time that they were touring, they were in the United States and then went over to and toured in Europe, and they were actually in London. Actually, as a side note, while they were in London, they were playing at Ronnie Scott's club. I believe it was September of 1970. They were playing their second set, and in the audience was Jimi Hendrix. And Jimi Hendrix actually came up and performed with the band, Eric Burdon and War, for the last 30, 40, 50 minutes of their gig there. And of course, the very next day, Jimi Hendrix died, and that was really the last time Jimi Hendrix performed live and on stage was actually with Eric Burdon and War. Anyway, along that tour that they were doing, Eric Burdon and War, Eric Burdon had a medical mishap, and I believe they called it something like an asthma attack or something of that nature. Anyway, it resulted in him leaving the band at that time. The band went ahead and fulfilled the gigs that they had already scheduled and completed the tour without Eric. And then, of course, in 1971, they just formed the band War. Starting in 1971, they released the album All Day Music, followed in 1972, the release of The World Is a Ghetto. And then in 1973, Deliver the World was released. And then in 1975, Why Can't We Be Friends was released. Which brings us to 1976, when they released this album, their greatest hits. Now, it is a greatest hits album, but it did come with one song that was a new release. That song was called Summer, which really became one of their stellar, one of their most popular hits. Was the title, where was the song Summer, which is a great song. Let's go ahead, now that we've learned a little bit about who War is and who War was at the time, let's kind of take a look and see what Analogue Productions has done. As many of you well know, this is a 45 RPM double album, 180 gram. I believe it was remastered by Ryan K. Smith at Sterling Sound. So you know the sound is going to be quite excellent. They have, Ryan K. Smith does a great job. I believe it was Ryan K. Smith. Yes, Ryan K. Smith at Sterling Sound did the remastering, so you know it's going to sound great. One of the things that Analogue Productions is doing, and we've kind of noted this quite a bit on the Atlantic 75 releases that they're doing incredible album covers. As you can see, this is a gatefold. I'm trying to get this to where you can see it. Tip-on style, old style type of jacket. Just an incredible job that they are doing with these album covers. In my opinion, I think it's just amazing. As you can see up here in the top left-hand corner, special 45 RPM edition of this album. Which is, like I say, it indicated it's been remastered by Ryan K. Smith at Sterling Sound. Before I get into the sound on this album, let me just kind of show you what you get for your $60 that you're spending on this album. Of course, you're going to get Analogue Productions, Acoustic Sounds. You're going to get their little pamphlet that kind of shows you past releases and maybe even some future releases that they are doing, which is kind of a neat thing. As indicated, the vinyl is 180 gram. This here is side 1 of the album. I don't know if you can see that. Very clean, very nice, absolutely straight, free of warps. Songs on this is All Day Music, Slipping Into Darkness, The World is a Ghetto. You can see over on side 2, there's a little bit more of Dead Wax. There's only 2 songs, The Cisco Kid and Gypsy Man on this. But once again, Analogue Production, in my opinion, is doing a fantastic job on these 45 RPM re-releases and remastering of these great albums. As indicated, and I'll kind of talk a little bit about each of the songs, each of the tracks on the album, and my impressions of the sound. You know, I don't know that I've really had a bad review of an Analogue Productions album. In fact, I don't know if I've really done any videos that I thought were terribly bad, some better than others for sure. But this review that I'm going to be giving you on this album, I'm going to be upfront and honest with you right here and now. This might be some of their very best work. Of course, the albums originated from the original master tapes starting back in 1971. Of course, this album was released in 1976 from those master tapes, with the one exception of Summer, which was released along with this album. The sound quality is nothing short of breathtaking on this album. In fact, this might be one of my most favorite remastered albums, probably next to Sealy Dan Asia, that that Analogue Productions has done. This is absolutely, in my opinion, some of Analogue Productions' finest work. I don't know why that is. The only version of this album that I have is a digital version, 44. I can't even remember what the resolution is, but it's not a high resolution, certainly not a DSD file. But this makes these songs, some of those incredibly awesome songs back in the day, sound like they're fresh and brand new. And I'm not kidding you. Let me kind of talk to you a little bit about some of the songs on the album. As I was listening to this album, I was taking notes because I was so taken back by the sound on this album. I would definitely classify this album as, in particular, if you like the music war. And that's just another thing that I wanted to tell you before before you run out and buy this album, by my recommendations or anybody else's, vet it out. Make sure you like the music. Listen to it on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever it is you listen to your music, and make sure it's something that you really like. But to me, this is great music. This is a record that will get a lot of playing time on my record player. Absolutely, for sure. On side 1, and remember this is a 45 RPM, so we got 4 sides. Side 1, The World is a Ghetto. Just talking about that song in particular. Voicing is excellent. There's harmonization that is excellent, very three-dimensional, creating a sound stage. Percussion is solid and well-defined. As indicated, and this group, War, I don't know why, but they remind me a lot of the group Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Maybe it's because of the horn section that they have, but they just remind me a lot of Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And keep in mind, this is classified as rock music, but it's really funk. It's really funk rock, I would think, this type of music. And as you listen to this album, you'll kind of get where I'm coming from with that. Moving over to side 2, Cisco Kid. I have never heard this song with so much clarity and dynamic impact. And that is just really the truth. The drums in this, as the song opens up, is just phenomenal. Voices in the background have never been so well defined and clear on this song, at least for me. And Cisco Kid, as you all well know, this is a classic song. I mean, everybody's heard Cisco Kid. And so this isn't like a song that we've never heard before, but I've never heard it sound like this. The sound is unbelievable, in my opinion. Gypsy Man, another song on side 2, good song, really good song. The harmonica towards the very end of the song, my gosh, it just sounds precise and so upfront and so believable, like it's almost like they're there. And it's just a I wrote as a kind of a side 1 and side 2 summary of what I heard, and it was clean and dynamic, very quiet vinyl. Horns are rendered with proper space, with no edginess or no brightness. And I know a lot of times, especially on original pressings at times, especially if they're old, we sometimes get a little bit of edginess, and that might just be our sound system in general on how it portrays that recording, or maybe something that we just don't like as an individual and how we perceive to hear our music. But this was so precise and sounded so clear and so accurate, I guess is probably the better words. The horns in particular I'm talking about. There was no edginess. It wasn't bright. It was just sounded like horns, which is probably the best description I can give you. Moving on to side 3, Me and Baby Brother. Horns again on this song sound phenomenal. Southern part of Texas. It's a good song. I really like it. It just has great sound, very similar to what we've already talked about. And then another very, very popular song on the album, Why Can't We Be Friends? Reference quality. Imaging on the voices are absolutely awesome on this cut. I just, you've heard these songs that are specifically, you've heard before. They're big hits for the group War. Big hits. A lot of these songs have been in tons of different movies, for different reasons, different applications in movies. But they've never sounded like this. At least to me, they never sounded like this. Reference quality sound. Moving on to side 4, Low Rider, another incredible, popular song. The bongos in there are just as sharp as they can be. They just sound like you're in the studio with them. Drums are excellent. Horns, once again, are precise in their imaging. With this album, you can actually kind of feel, or at least I could, in my listening room, I could feel, I could feel actually and see a stage, if you will. And you don't really always get that. But spacing between instruments was actually precise on this album. And then, of course, the last song on side 4 is Summer. Another great, incredible hit, beautiful song, which was a new release on this album when it was released in 1976. Once again, the bongos were so very well defined. Voices sound incredible. And the horns, once again, have proper space and definition. No edgy, no bright sounds. Once again, I think that Analogue Productions with this album has hit a home run. Ryan K. Smith, in his remastering of this album, is phenomenal. If you're a fan of War, if you like the group War, if you like these songs, this is my opinion, and I'm not denying the fact that $60 is a lot of money. To me, this is a must-own album. I just think the sound quality is phenomenal on this album. I've just never heard these songs sound so clear and so precise and so accurate, so free from noise and free from edginess, or I don't know, maybe even muted type song. And maybe, you know, how we hear these, you know, even my digital copy sounds decent, but it's nothing like this. Nothing. And I don't have an original copy of the album, so I couldn't compare it to that, but I'm sure that it would fall short by a whole bunch. War's Greatest Hits. What an incredibly great album. I can't recommend it high enough. Like I say, if you're not familiar with War, you've not really heard about them. I know you've probably heard songs once you get on and listen to it. You go, holy cow, I've heard that song before. I know you're going to have that at least once or twice, maybe 3 times with some of the songs on this album, but vet it out and listen to it. In my opinion, in particular, if you're an audiophile, if you're into good sound and you're into great music, which this is exactly what this album is, it's a must-have. The remastering of this is, in my mind, phenomenal. One of the best I picked up in a long, long time. War, Greatest Hits, highly recommended. Thank you so much for watching. Just really quickly, as an update, what we got coming right around the corner, we're going to be doing a review and a short comparison to a digital DSD version of this album. This is Getz and Gilbardo, the One Step by Impex Recordings. We're going to be doing a review of that here right away. And then I'm also going to be doing this makes a whole lot of sense to you, I'm sure. I'm going to be doing an unboxing, and we're going to do a full review of the Eagles, The Long Run on Mobile Fidelity One Step. So that's coming down the line, as well as a few other videos that we've got in the works. But anyway, thank you so much for watching today. Please, if you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. That's great. Love that. But as always, please leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. If you picked up this album, I would love to hear other people's feedback on what they think of the album. I put it on my turntable and played it 5 or 6 times, and I'm going to put it on again and play it again right away because the sound is so incredible. I just can't get over how great this album is. Anyway, thank you so much for being with me here today. Have a great day.